Good morning, guys. It's me, Charles Francis, Ground Level Coaching, and welcome to my SMR Simple Monday Reflections. Today I just finished my run. I've done a 90-minute run, and I do like different types of runs during the week. Sometimes I like to do a long run, and forget about the time. I mean, the time or the distance I'm running, and then sometimes I like to do my hill sprints, and sometimes I like to just do my 10K run. But anyway, today I've done my 90-minute run, and I found myself being really happy during this run. I was just smiling to myself and enjoying the run, and I was happy. And so it reminded me, and I thought to myself, yeah, you know what? I want to reflect a little bit about happiness. So that's what I want to spend a few minutes now reflecting with you about happiness, because what I realize is that some people they measure their happiness by what occurs in the moment. So whatever's happening for them in that particular moment, they derive their happiness from. And this is okay because obviously, we go to things and we're excited about things, or we hear good news, or we go on an adventure, or whatever. And whatever happens in that moment, yeah, it does give us happiness. So that's okay. But if that's your only source of you grabbing your happiness or getting your happiness from, then it's quite limited. It's quite limited in the sense where what happens then if in that moment something fantastic happens and all of a sudden something else happens that does that mean that it's going to take away that happiness from you and automatically you're going to feel sad because in that new moment now something bad has happened or something that you didn't want to happen. So just by basing measuring our happiness on what happens in the moment is quite limited in the sense where we're going to be governed by situations and things that happen to us as opposed to us managing our own happiness around whatever occurs in our life. So what I realized is that when I was running, there was nothing in that particular moment that was really going to make me happy. I mean, look, I was pressuring through, I was sweating, I was pressuring through the run. I was, my heart's beating. There's nothing in there that really in an ideal world would actually make me happy. I can see I can might make you motivated or inspired, but not happy. But I found myself being happy, and because for me, I feel there's another source of happiness rather than us dictating what happens in the moment. Because there's a problem when we just rely on happiness in the moment. Because what happens is that whatever we focus on, we end up getting more of. So if we're happy in a moment and we're really happy, we're going to start focusing on happy things. And yeah, it's going to increase our happiness for that moment. And it's great. That's fantastic. But what if something happens that we don't want, or for example, we get some bad news, or we see something terrible, or we hear something, or we're anticipating something that's going to happen to us or happen in the world, and we get it changes our emotions from that happy state. Then what happens then is that we tend to focus on that. And the same thing applies. Whatever we focus on, we're going to get more of. So when you're not feeling happy, you're feeling overwhelmed, stressed, or frustrated, you focus on that. Now, everything else that you see around you just magnifies that emotion and magnifies that state that you're already feeling. So when you're scrolling through social media and you're looking at people's posts, you're just going to see how wonderful everything in life is for them. And you say, oh, why me? Why does my life have to be like this? Or you're looking around people driving flashy cars and living in flashy homes. Why can't I have that car? Why can't I live in that home? You're just magnifying the state that you're already in. And because you're not in a happy state, you're just perpetuating that unresourceful state that you're constantly in. But it's important to remind ourselves that what they're showing and what you're seeing from them and outside and everything is just a moment. You're seeing that moment of happiness that they're sharing, or that moment of happiness that you're focusing on. So that's what you're seeing. And just because of your state's not in a happy state, it's that it's having the adverse effect. So although they're showing a happy moment, for you, it's just reinforcing what you don't have. It's reinforcing what you want and what's missing for you because of what you're focusing on. You're focusing on the unresourceful unhappiness or whatever unwanted state or emotion that you're feeling at the time. So coming back to my run and why I felt happy during my run is because I feel that there's a better way of us harnessing our happiness as opposed to just relying on the moment and what the moment provides and gives us. And that better way is to venture into that world of gratitude. It's about understanding the whole theme of gratitude. And the reason why I say that is because gratitude isn't based on the moment. You know, if you're looking for happiness in the moment, then you're only going to look for good things that happen. Okay, because it makes sense. If a bad thing happens, you're not going to be happy if it's in that moment, because you're going to feel stressed and you're going to get the response of what happens to you in that moment. So you're not going to feel happy in that moment if something bad happens. However, if you look at the pool of gratitude now, gratitude is a strange thing, because it's not reliant on the moment. It's reliant on both bad and good experiences. It shows you that all experiences and all emotions serve a purpose for us. The good and the bad, the happy and the sad. Because in the absence of sadness, we wouldn't know happiness. If there was no sadness, you wouldn't know what it feels to be happy. And you wouldn't know how to appreciate happiness if you had never experienced any sadness. So gratitude now, we learn from both of them. We build this pool of gratitude from both of our experiences, both the wanted ones and the unwanted ones. So for example, when we get a great experience in our life, we learn and we build from that, because we're blessed to have this experience. So many people are not having it, and we're fortunate to have it. So we thank and we're grateful to have it. But then also when we have like trials and tribulations and challenges experiences, in that moment, if we look at just the moment, yeah, it's a struggle, it's a strain, and it feels like it might be our life, but it's just a moment. And if we look at it from a gratitude stance point, when that moment's over and then you're into the next moment, what you'll find out now is that you can be grateful for that past moment. You can be grateful for what you've learned in that. You can be grateful for how resilient it's made, how prepared it's made you for the next time you may experience a similar unwanted emotion or situation. So gratitude builds from the pool of the good and the bad. And the good thing about gratitude is that I'm not reliant on the moment to harness it. So for example, I'm running down the road and I can harness my happiness just by focusing on what I'm grateful for. So here's a little exercise, guys. Anytime you're feeling kind of overwhelmed, frustrated, any emotion that is unwanted, that you don't really want in the moment. So anytime you're feeling this type of emotion that is kind of changing your focus, and then you find that you're just focusing on this moment all the time, everything around you is reinforcing this emotion that you don't want. You start stacking it up by what you see and hear, and it's just putting you more and more down into that emotion that you don't want to be in. Anytime you find yourself kind of falling into that pit, and you're not sure how to get yourself out, try this. I want you to take a couple of breaths, take 3 breaths. There's magic in 3. Don't ask me why, but they always say there's magic in 3. So just take 3 deep breaths. What that does, first and foremost, it creates a little gap. It creates a little pause, a little gap in the pattern that you're following. Because in life, anything we do is followed by patterns. Even if you don't understand the pattern that's going on, you're following a particular pattern that's perpetuating and continuing the same cycle that you're experiencing. And even within that pattern of our behavior and the things we're thinking about and so forth, is also our breathing. Okay, you're breathing a certain way. So you want to separate that pattern the simplest way you can straight away. And that is to just control your breathing. 3 deep breaths, pause it, create that little tiny gap into that pattern that you've created. And then now, it's not going to do everything, but what it does is just start. It's just the start. So you take the 3 deep breaths, and then I want you to change what you're focusing on. Because like I said, whatever you focus on, you're going to get more of. And if you're in an unresourceful state, you're focusing on that. So everything around you is just reinforcing that. So you need to change your focus. And people might say to me, well, Charles, how do I change my focus? Because this is on my mind. This is all I'm thinking about at the moment. How can I just automatically just change my focus? Well, a quick way of changing your focus is by asking yourself a question. If you ask yourself a question, whether it's subconsciously or consciously, you have to answer it. You can't just ask a question and just leave it in the void. So the quick way to change your focus is ask yourself a question. Now, I advise you ask it out loud. Ask yourself a question. And the question I advise you to ask yourself is, what am I grateful for in my life right now? What am I grateful for in my life right now? And when you ask that question, your mind is going to start searching and start wondering, start searching, what is it I'm grateful for in my life right now? And if you're struggling to find an answer for that, you can ask yourself, what could I be grateful for in my life right now? It's a fantastic question. It's out there in the future. So if you're struggling to find what's going on in the present because you're stuck in the moment, then your brain can search for the future. What could I be grateful for if I wanted to in my life right now? Okay, and when you ask these questions, your mind's going to start coming up with little things, big things. It doesn't matter how small or how big it is. It's going to come up with these things that you can be grateful for. And what I want you to do is I want you to listen. I want you to listen to what comes. What am I grateful for? And one or two things that you keep saying, don't ask yourself the question once. Like I said, there's magic in threes. Ask yourself this question 3 times. You get the answer once, ask it again. What am I grateful for in my life right now? You get another answer, ask it again. What am I grateful for in my life right now? And you're going to find that there's going to be 1 or 2 answers that are going to keep reoccurring in your mind. And what I want you to do is take that answer that stands out to you. Take that answer. Don't just listen to it, but take it now. And it's like you'll highlight, you'll focus on that answer and then go into it and say to yourself, well, what is it about this that I'm grateful for? What is it about this that makes me feel grateful? That lights my fire, lights me up? What is it about this that's special? And really ask questions about it and connect with the answers. Don't just ask the questions, connect with the answers. Acknowledge. Be aware of how you're feeling when you ask these questions. When you think about that thing that you're grateful for, be aware how it changes your feeling. Be aware how you feel inside when you think about this. And think about what are you saying to yourself when you think about this moment or this person. Think about, what am I seeing like when I think about this moment or person that I'm really grateful for. And what happens is, without you realizing it, you start to create a smile. And if you're conscious of this smile, because of how life is, we try to push it away and say, oh, what am I smiling for? But if you just let it go, this smile comes from inside. It's like an inner smile. It comes because you're really grateful for what it is you're honing and focusing and you're remembering. And so it's this smile, that inner smile, whether it's explicit or whether it's silent, but and you recognize it. When your heart can start connecting with what you're grateful for and why you're grateful for it and how it makes you feel when you think about it and what you hear and see and say to yourself when you think about this, it starts to bring a smile. And then you realize, yes, this is where my real happiness lies. This is where my real happiness lies. It is not measured by what happens in this right moment now. Whatever happens to me right now, it's just a moment. Just a moment I'm going through. Life is full of different moments. It changes. No one is going to be happy all of the time. Maybe you might be seeing, why has this person got this? Or why is this person? They're showing you a moment of happiness that they want to share with you. Applaud them. Thank you very much for sharing that moment. But don't be misled in thinking that that's their entire life. It's not their entire life. They're going to go through struggles and challenges just like you might be going through one right now. But it's just a moment. And you have to learn how to harness happiness in the moment, even if it's not the moment that you want. Because realize that whatever emotions you're feeling, no matter what situation is, these emotions you can learn from. These emotions can serve you and they can help you when you pass through that moment. And there's a better way to harness our happiness than just waiting for something to come to make us happy. We can stop, we can pause, we can reconnect with what we're grateful for. And we can realize how rich we are inside, as opposed to circumstances making us rich, people making us rich, what people say about us having to advertise ourselves. So we get self-affirmations for ourselves. So other people can confirm how great we are or how special we are. No. Your life experiences would tell you how special you are and how special your life is. So guys, I wanted to share that with you. I got a bit deep and a bit passionate, but you know how I am. I love to talk and I love a conversation. Welcome to my Simple Monday Reflections. Guys, we're going to be covering some topics, see what you think, I'd love to hear your comments down below about what you think about happiness and how you harness your happiness. Do you allow in a moment? Or are you able to keep on grabbing this pool of gratitude? Keep on grabbing this pool of gratitude to fill you up. So when the bad moments come, you just hit it on a rock, just like that. I'd love to hear your comments down below and I'd love you to stay in tuned, okay? Like I always say, man, this life is amazing. This life we're living is amazing. You're amazing. You're amazing. Exactly. So God bless. Have a safe day and stay blessed. Peace.